And although a lot of the good principles from the earlier rounds, like Rukia Anpo's jab and lead side double attacks, carry over, there's a lot more throwing hooks in this round and windmilling. Buakaw keeps a steady pressure forward and uses that kind of jab long guard hybrid and uses the low kick to capitalise on Rukia Anpo putting his weight on that lead leg for the jab. Nice to see quad kicks. There's a 1-2. Buakaw uses that kind of long guard to deflect it, takes most of it on the shoulder if you look again. So Rukia Anpo sets to throw a 1-2. Some of it gets through on the ear, but that's the thing with the long guard is you get a lot of shoulder through. You open yourself up to uppercuts, but you can get a lot of shoulder to defend those right hands and overhands. Left kick with no switch, and then Buakaw walks in. This is something you see with high-level strikers sometimes, even though it doesn't look as clean. We'll see Buakaw land a kick, and then just kind of walk in relaxed. It's quite energy efficient, and it allows him to spring back in. There's a low kick again, and then Anpo goes for his 2-touch. Really good defense from Buakaw. Buakaw's shown really good defense this full fight against most of the conventional 2-touch attacks that Anpo did. So Anpo changed it up there. He did 2-touch, and then instead of going back southpaw, he lands orthodox, and then throws a 1-2, and he lands that 1-2 pretty clean. Kind of on the side of the head of Buakaw. So it's quite interesting how he has different options off of that 2-touch kick. A lot of people with flamboyant kicks, like that 2-touch kick, they'll finish at that flamboyant technique, but he has a lot of things. We saw earlier, he goes southpaw, tries the left kick when he lands. That didn't really work this fight because Buakaw had his checks on point, so he lands with a 1-2 as he steps down. So Rukia Anpo lands a left hook, comes around the guard of Buakaw. Really good double attack between the jab and the hook in this fight. He had a little bit of a rear shoulder feint if we look again. There he lands that left hook. I think I've just gone not far enough back, but okay, so Buakaw's following, Rukia Anpo jabs, checks that low kick, he's a bit more switched onto it. There he feints the right hand and goes with the left hook. It's been landing because as well he's getting Buakaw reaching to parry with that jab. Buakaw goes body hook, head hook. They're starting to exchange, bit too close for hooks, it kind of scuffs the ear, so it's still a decent shot. But they kind of get a bit too close for hook. And Rukia Anpo is trying to maintain that distance with the jab still. He'll double and triple it as Buakaw's kind of walking forward on the spot. But Buakaw cross parries and hits a left kick. That left kick is one of the answers Buakaw has for the jab in this fight because it's a bit longer. Rukia Anpo uses his own. That's a really interesting movement there. Is he kind of switches. So he switches to a feint in the left kick, pauses on the spot, loads his weight back onto his right leg, and then looks for the right hook. It nearly lands, but Rukia Anpo gets inside. The right hook, it's hard to get the trajectory when it was in that close. And then the clinch up and have a very slow break. Breaks are much slower in the third round as they're getting tired. There's a really tight left hook by Anpo, but sometimes it's actually the less technical hook, the wider hook by Buakaw gets around. And Anpo throws combinations on the back foot. There's some nice double attacks off the backhand by Buakaw, that uppercut right hook, and Anpo trades back. As we see, when Anpo adopts his double forearms high guard, it's the left hook is the counter shot he's looking for. It really boards itself well to that counter left hook. There's a double forearms guard where a shoulder roll sets yourself up for that rear uppercut, rear right straight. So we're moving forward. Anpo using that lead leg, kind of scuffs on the belt line. They have very different lead legs. The way Buakaw's that classic switch style, and Anpo's more just lifting the leg up to hit the target. Body hook, and then he grabs a collar tie, does Buakaw, and lands a few uppercuts and a knee, which is against the kind of kickboxing rules allowed here. And he gets a little warning for that. But you always get one. You always get one warning, so you can get away with it once. You landed 2 uppercuts and a knee, so why not? Use almost like a classic double forearm, like Archie Moore style, mummy guard there. Not mummy guard, that's the wrong one. That's a George Foreman style. But double forearms up, elbows vertically out. But Rukia Anpo hits a second phase by framing off. That's a really good thing about frames, is frames aren't just to stop people clinching. They can open up the second phase of a combination in quite a simple way. Masato is the classic one for that. So if we see, he throws a 1-2, doesn't land clean, but then puts that forearm across, and that makes an opening for the next right hand. Use frames. Use frames. They're not just to stop people clinching. They can open up the second phase without much commitment. Especially when it's like a nice tight forearm frame. He's not reaching his hand out for it. Buakaw's walking forward. That jab established by Ricky Anpo again. Parry by Buakaw. He's trying to establish that double attack as well between the left high kick, but Buakaw's defense of the kicks is really solid. Leans back, and then he manages to stop Anpo against the ropes with a left kick, and it'll open up with his combinations. That's Anpo's main counter when he's on the rope. Double forearm guard, delay, and then left hook. Really good strikers don't always just take the punch and throw their left hook back at the soonest opportunity. They can delay it. Buakaw with that crazy lean back. So risky, but he almost always ends up in the clinch off it if he manages to avoid the punch, because he'll avoid the punch. It'll cause opponents to overswing because he looks so open, and then Buakaw ends up in the clinch where he can ping the knees in. He's got a lot of classic performances on it, but like I said, the Andradita fight, which was nearly an upset, he got knocked down quite badly off it. So it's a very risky thing to do. Anpo, again, establishing the jab. But the left kick is slightly longer than the jab. Even though the jab doesn't really open yourself up to a left kick, the left kick's still going to come through. Because even if the jab arm's out, throwing that jab, there's only that right arm back at home to take the brunt of the kick. It's hard to cross block on it and get both forearms to it. Big lean back by Buakaw. Anpo looks for that left kick. That was a good adjustment by Anpo there to look for the body kick as Buakaw was moving his head around. Because as his head's moving, his body stayed still. But he loses his balance because he leans back quite heavily on the kick. He leans back. Buakaw just gets a hand to his heel and then bundles him onto the ropes and hits that right kick as he's moving out. It's a classic move. Gets him off balance and it's kind of like a legal plow because he didn't really force him forward. If you don't know what the plow is, that's when people catch the kick and run people across the ring to put them on the ropes and then throw the power kick back. That was just a hand on the heel and just off balanced him. Neither gets caught with a 1-2 on one leg. Yeah. Touching the inside kick. That's insane defense by Buakaw the full fight. Being able to check that second kick. Anpo loves that two-touch. Well, that doubling up on the lead side kick, inside kick, body kick, inside kick, head kick. But it was so consistently checked throughout this fight. Anpo kind of feints with his right hand to look for the body and gets out of position, landing that right overhand. But an interesting thing is between these exchanges, Anpo does a good job through this fight. So say this is a more wild hooking exchange, like a rear shoulder feint, body hook, overhand, all misses, but between, he just sticks the jab. Just racks his points up and it's irritating. Really good offbeat timing, just hitting that jab between the exchanges. There, he uses that right straight on the back foot, keeps a bit of length in his stance. Possibly less worried about getting caught with kicks because it's so close to the end of the fight. And he's widening his stance to land solid shots on Buakaw. Using the 1-2, Buakaw ducks his head in and then uses that left arm just to move Anpo off balance so he's not hitting any clean counters. And there's just a big exchange towards the end. Very, very close on the left hooks, but Buakaw just seems to, even at his advanced stage, has that good timing. It's crazy how Buakaw has that timing. Even though he's way older, like Anpo's 27 here in his prime, Buakaw, as respectfully as you can say, is way past that time, way past that prime. Still has that read and still has that timing. Very risky, the leaning back. If you've got someone leaning back, probably hit them with a feint or even a double feint first and then catch them. Because you're not going to land your first shot if they're leaning back. He hit the body once, but Buakaw's body defense, his defense to kicks, is so high level. And if he was leaning in to land body punches, you would kind of fall into Buakaw's clinch. Beautiful fight. I believe they scored it a draw. There's Top G Masato. Yeah,